You know, Milton likes to get up and welcome everybody about 12 times. We'll do that in a minute. We're going to welcome afterwards. But what we'd like to do is honor the time that our speaker has given us. This is Donna Randall. She is with Adult Protective Services. And so glad she could come here today and lend her expertise and share that with us. I'm just curious though, who's been involved with Adult Protective Services before? Okay, just a few. So it'll help us to know what to look for. So we look forward to hearing what you have to say. Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm, like Ms. Miracle said, I'm with Adult Protective Services. I just made my 10th year with Adult Protective Services. And I've been 3 years with the state of Texas. So, the little bit of knowledge that I have, I will give it to you.
Senior
Adult
Protective Service,
Services
Mama, for abuse old people. Okay.
We investigate abuse, neglect, or exploitation of the elderly, which is 65 and older, or the disabled, which is 18 and older. If you're receiving Social Security, we welcome you as well. What we do is we have all kinds of allegations and what we're going to investigate. We have, if you call in a case, we have medical neglect. That's someone who's not taking their medication. We have mental health neglect. That's someone who's probably not taking their medications and hallucinations and are doing schizophrenia. It goes within that bracket. We also have self and physical neglect. That means that they're not paying their bills, they're not taking care of themselves. We also have exploitation, when someone is taking your money for their own personal gain. And I think that's it for the allegations that can be set for a client. I'm going to turn the tables a little bit and ask you, does anybody have any questions first about Adult Protective Services?
Okay. Yeah, I do. When do you pull the trigger? When do you say now's the time? This is getting crazy. I mean, how do you know if you're just being over conservative or not?
Okay. Now, when you go into a home, as caregivers, as y'all do, y'all can see a lot of different things. I'm just going to give you an example for one. They may have a child, a spouse that they're constantly arguing with, and you don't like it because it's like they're escalating their voices, they're threatening them. You have to ask yourself, is this an ongoing thing or is this something that's very rarely done? Because if it's ongoing, that's the ramification of the house. We'll come out, we're going to investigate any and everything. Whatever you call in this 1-800 number, we're going to investigate. But try to have as much information as possible. When we go out, we're going to ask that person what's actually going on this certain incident. If they're arguing over money, we're going to ask them. If the stories add up together, it might be invalid because this is an ongoing thing. If this is just a one-time argument over money and the child has threatened the parent, then yeah, we're going to validate that because they had no right to do that. So that's one of many. We also have when they have medication. If they're missing their medication, if you know that you're giving them medication every day and they have 30 pills, but when you go there that day they have 30, you come back maybe in 2 or 3 days and they have 15, 16 pills, someone's taking their pills. So we will come out and investigate it. And what we will do is see who's all been coming in and out the house, who has access to this medication, what are they doing to this medication. Some parents say, well, they're in pain, I give them medication. But you can't do that, it's your medication. So we'll just try to talk to them, maybe do a little counseling because we can venture out to counseling courses for the person that needs assistance. We also try to talk to the person who's taking the pills to go get help because obviously you're taking someone's medication and you don't know what's going on with their body. The medications are given to them, not you, and something could happen and you can take their medication and you can be ill. So that's another situation. We have people that the caregivers, the rent might not be paid. Something has happened to where the client might tell you, hey, my rent's not being paid. I can't pay my rent this month. We're going to come out, we're going to investigate that. We're going to see why your rent is not being paid, what happened to your money right then and there. If you've chosen to buy scratch-offs or by Christmas and birthday gifts for your grandchildren, we're not going to pay your rent. We are just going to advise you, hey, you're gonna have to talk to the landlord, or you're gonna have to make some type of way, because that's not a crisis. That's a luxury for everyone else. We have just a lot of just reasons why we come out and investigate, but we're gonna investigate everything that you call in. Can someone give me an example of or a situation that they may think may need someone to call in?
I do, I have one.
Okay.
What if a client has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, dementia, and she lives alone, and she's there by herself, she doesn't eat properly, she's taking her meds, the morning meds at night, night meds in the morning, so there's been a lot of mix-up. But she does have a caregiver for 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours at night, but she's there alone at night, so we don't know what goes on, we don't know if she's fallen. Is this a case for APS?
Yes. We're gonna come in, and if she hasn't been evaluated, we're gonna get a doctor to come in and evaluate her. The doctor's gonna state, yes, she has dementia, or no, she has 50-50 dementia. 50-50 dementia, we don't do anything. But if he says, yes, she's 100% demented and we need to do something, so what we would do is file for guardianship. We try to find family members to step in and help and take over, but if it's no family members, we will file guardianship through Harris County. And that is a process. So during the process, we will still be her worker. We might have to remove her from that house. We might have to put her in a personal care home so we can watch her, depending on how far along she is. And so that is a call for APS, and then we will work with Harris County to get her guardianship and take care of her.
Or talk with the family.
First, that's what we try to do, but if they have any, you have family that don't want to take care of the elderly. And so we just move on from there. We feel that, hey, this is not a safe environment, so we're gonna place her somewhere. Another question?
Carrie.
One of our nurses ran into a situation just to relate to y'all, and it was such that the house was very, very, very unsafe. The particular person was a hoarder, so that you barely had paths to get down to the various rooms, and this we reported to APS. They did a great job. They came out. The only decision in that case that they could make is no decision, for the simple reason, as they put it, the lady chose to live that way and she's totally with it.
That's correct.
But yet it was a fire hazard if there ever was one.
Yes, I can believe that. What we do in that situation is that if a client, something's going up here mentally, we try to get her help through counseling to see can we remove some of these items. But if a client has capacity, we can't make them do anything they don't want to do. If she wants to live in that environment, we have to allow her to live in that environment, even though it's unsafe. But because she has capacity, and that's the key word, capacity. But she has some mental issues going on. We'll try to connect her with MHMR or connect her with some counseling services to assist her. What we would offer her is a heavy clean. We can come in your home, we can offer you a heavy clean, and we can ask you, hey, okay, you're gonna have to get these papers together, because when we bring our people in, they're just gonna clean out everything. It's not gonna be anything left. So a lot of people do back out, and because they want to go through their things, and it might take months to go through all the paperwork, and we don't have that type of time. APS jumps in as a crisis. We jump in, we jump out, and we close your case out. But some cases we do have ongoing. I had a case, one was in the hospital. She had no memory. We have had cases on her, but every time we go out and try to visit her, she would just disappear. She would disappear because she was basically homeless. So every time she would come to the clinic or the hospital, they would call it in, because she can still talk, she can do everything a normal person would, but she chose to live on the street. But when we got out there, she was gone. However, I found her, she was in the hospital. She couldn't talk. Something had happened and she didn't get the medical attention quick enough, and she could not talk. I've had her from October all the way into this past week, because she was in the hospital. They had to go for guardianship. However, they were trying to find out, does she have any family members, does she have any income? But by her not talking, we didn't know what was going on. those types of cases take a really long time and we don't have any follow-up information. Leading to that, if you're a caregiver and you come back to the office and you say, Miss Mary Lou, I have this client that I'm really, really concerned about, and I feel that we need to call in a case. You tell Miss Mary Lou calls it into us. Now, this Friday afternoon, 4:30, we're calling you. We're trying to figure out what's going on. Miss Mary Lou is like, well, Renee said that this case was a we need to talk to Renee. And she needs to be listed as a collateral because you have first-hand information. Miss Mary Lou is only getting the information that you give her. We really need to talk to you. Even if it's after 5 o'clock, someone's going to call you just to get tidbit information. So please, 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 get as much information as you can. Please give us your personal cell phone number. I know it's after hours, but we're still working after hours. And so we need to know, we need to assess the issue. If we assess it and you're like, well, I think she's going to be safe until Monday, we don't send the on-call staff out. But if you're saying, no, y'all need to get there now, we have to go out. That's why we need to speak to you to make sure she has someone put in place so we can just get the client taken care of at that time. So and it's just kind of hard when we look at caregivers because at 5 o'clock they're gone. Then the on-call staff comes in, but I understand y'all have a 24-hour on-call staff, so that works for us. But that's just the only basically complaint that we have when we're trying to get to that client, trying to really find out what's going on. Yes,
So
ma'am.
how big is your office? How many calls do you get? I'm curious.
My office, we have 7 people assigned to our unit and 7 people, we have 2 offices in our building. Upholstery generates all the units basically. And 7 is I guess the maximum everyone may have, but we're down 2 people. I cover the northwest side, Humble, Kingwood, Spring, Acres Homes, and Greenspoint area. Now those areas, because we're down, I have gotten last month I think 22 cases, and the norm is probably 15. The norm used to be 12, and in 12 we can go out and talk to the people 2 or 3 times a month to make sure that they're safe. Now because we're getting so many cases, once, maybe twice, we'll phone call and say, hey, are you okay? What do you need? Is there anything? Let's keep this going. So we try to have an open communication and relationship with the client. But also when you're calling a case, let us know. There's cats, dogs, mice, something, because we are walking into something that we are just totally blindsided. And we do not call you and tell you that we're coming. We'll just pop up because we don't want, if someone is in the house abusing that client, we don't want them to know we're coming because we want to catch them off guard. Because if they know we're coming, they can clean everything up and say, oh, everything's fine, yada, yada, yada. And the client might not say anything. But if we walk, because I'm going to knock at, I'm telling my kids, I'm going to knock on your door at 8:30 in the morning. If I'm up, we all going to be up together and I'm going to catch you off guard. And that's what we normally do. So we try to do that, and we get more truth when we catch you off guard. Because if you're on guard and you know we're coming, you might be ready for me at the door. You just don't know. So that's just one of the other things that we try to get as much information as we can as well. Questions? Come on, give me questions, y'all. Questions?
Where do you get your funding?
Through the state of Texas, we're state funded. So we always have funds. Our funds won't run out. So they're telling us, like, we do provider services. We can do emergency provider services. Someone calls us, like your neighbor, and say, hey, she's by herself, she's bedbound, she just left the hospital, she needs help until we can get this going with the home health care agency. We will go over there, we would assess her and see what hours that she needs, but they've come back on our hours. We can only give them 9 hours a week until we call dad's or her insurance kicks in or something like that. So we can do emergency hours.
I have another question.
Yes.
So let's say that Shonda comes back to me and says, Mary Lou, I'm really concerned about this. Well, I'll turn to the nurse immediately and say, hey, Jeannie, let's talk about this. So let's decide that it is a matter for you. And so let's say the nurse says, yeah, we got a call. So part of what we do is to build reputations with the family. And you can imagine how some of our families, I imagine you have come to, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, with family members. And I want to be able to conserve the relationship that we have with the families, but at the same time get the adult taken care of. So is it an anonymous process whereby the family won't know who called?
Yes, that's correct. When you call in a case, even if you're being called in, if you call in a case, I'm gonna put it this way, if you call in a case, we're not going to tell anyone. It's an anonymous process, it's confidential. That's why we have to call you back and say, hey, what actually happened? Then you give us the information. Now, when I go out to your home and you're there working, I'm gonna pull the client in and I'm going to talk to the client alone. Now, if her son is there and he's the person, the alleged perpetrator that's taking the client's money or doing anything towards the client, he's gonna make all accusations. I knew it was the case manager. I knew it was my sister. I knew it was my brother. I don't say a thing. And if the client asks me who called it in, my response is, I get my calls from Austin. I know who called it in, but you would never know I know who called it in because we cannot tell that information. It's confidential. And I don't tell people it's confidential because they'll say, I don't want to talk to you. They'll shut down and that's it. If I say my cases are coming from Austin, that's all I can say. Now, if someone ever calls a case in on you and I'm coming to your home, my cases come from Austin. And if you ever want to know who called it in, you have to go through our attorney. And then when you get the paperwork, it's all blacked out. You will still never know. So, I mean, it's always anonymous. People are going to point the fingers and say, I know it was you. Just keep saying, I don't know what you're talking about. It wasn't me. So that's how you do that. So we don't ever tell.
I have another one, sorry.
Come on.
Okay, so let's say you come out and you check and you talk to the son and he never did it, but he's not gonna do it again, and so the client says, you know, oh, I'm fine, and so you leave. What's the process after that?
Then, depending on the safety assessment, we have to see if she's safe. If it comes back, what we do is a chart. If it comes back high, because I'm gonna look at in the house, make sure you have food, medication, who's taking care of you. She might not want to talk because he's there and he's in the next room ranting and raving. I'm gonna be like, look, I'm gonna call you tomorrow at this time. Will it be okay? I try to go that extra mile to let them know if he's not gonna be here, then you're able to call me and tell me anything you want to tell me because I need to make sure you're safe. That's the bottom line. If you do not want him here, we're gonna go through a process. I'm gonna help you fill out that paperwork to get him evicted. That's where the problem comes in. You have a child that's living in your home. Oh, well, I don't want him back on the street, so I don't want her. That's the issue. So we have to take a step back, and we just try to educate the client and let them know, hey, this is really serious. Some of them may be on drugs, and they're looking for money, and you never know when you might get hurt. So we just try to educate them and let them know, hey, we're here for you. But if we can't do anything and they keep telling us no, we back out because they have capacity to make their own decision. Might not be the correct decision, but it's decision. So, yeah.
Okay. And if we see it repeated, we call again?
You can call again.
Okay.
So what's the process of the length of time? Like you said, you're talking to them and you say, you know, this is bad and we need to do something. I'll help you fill out the paperwork. And the son has just left the house because you're there.
Yes.
What happens then? I mean, how does that process work?
Yeah, if I don't have the paperwork on me that she wants, I'm going to go to the courthouse and I'm going to get the paperwork for you. I'm going to bring it back to your home.
In that day, that same day?
Not the same day. Because what we do, when we get a case, we number it. Like first, P1 is what we call priority. That means we have to go out there that day. Someone is ill or something actually is going on. We might have to call law enforcement. We have to go that day.
Okay.
But we're going to call you to see if it's actually a P1. You might call it in as a P1, but we're going to ask you some questions. We might can downgrade it. P2 is 3 days. If I get it on a Friday, Monday is the latest I can go out. P3, if I get it on a Friday, next Friday is the last day to go out.
Okay.
However, we try to go out. If I get a case on a Friday, and I know it's maybe just a rent payment, I might try to go Tuesday. I try to go and get my cases done because you never know. If they're not home, we have to go back within that time frame. So once we get out there and we get in, we that's what train thought. we will assess the issue, we will assess the problem. And if she wants the paperwork, I'm gonna go and get the paperwork, and I'm gonna tell her, okay, I can come on this day, because we have clients already scheduled.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell her, okay, will he be home this day? Sometime I go after 5 o'clock, but I normally start at 8:30. And I'm like, is he gonna be here? You know, let me know his schedule so I can come and help you and fill it out. So that's what we do, and then we'll go and drop it back off as well. So, but she would have to pay the $30 fee to have the constable come to the house and serve him. And then in 30 days, if he's not out that house, the constable will come and remove him from that house.
He has 30 days to get out, unless she's in physical danger.
Yeah, but they still have it because that's law enforcement. We can't remove anyone. A lot of people think APS is like part of the police, but we can't. Because we don't have a license, we don't have a badge. We're just there to do an investigation. But if he's threatening me, I have to pack up, I have to leave, because I cannot be threatened. And I can go outside and call the police, and I can still complete my investigation as long as the police is there. So sometimes
He
it's
still
happening.
has, even if he's been served with papers that say you have to leave and the client is in danger.
He still has 30 days, because she has to go through an eviction process. If you let someone stay in your home longer than 3 days, like if they come for a weekend and they happen to stay 4, 5, 6 days and say, well, I can't leave, I can't go, you have to evict them. And that's the process. And you have to pay $30 for the sheriff to come and evict them. It may have went up to $50 now, but I know it was $30. You have to go to the courthouse and file the paperwork.
Since when?
That's been in effect.
And what if they don't have $50?
We don't give them financial money.
How would they get that? Is
They
there-
would have to save their money from their check or something, or maybe borrow it from somebody to
But he
get them
takes
out.
all their money. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm thinking he takes it all and then, oh my
But look,
goodness.
if she pays the $50 and the sheriffs come and evicts him and puts his stuff out on the street, she can always let him back in the house. And so when that next phone call comes from APS, we're gonna come out there and we're gonna just talk to both of them, and we're gonna ask her, do you want him here? If she says yes, we got out.
I have a question.
Yes.
What constitutes a call for CPS? For instance, if this person is sick, has had a fall, just a random person, somebody you know, has had a fall, gone into the hospital, was incoherent for days, and finally was released to a nursing home, and insist on going home, go home, fall again, back in the hospital. There's nobody really to step in and families to take care of them. What is this a call for CPS?
APS.
I mean APS?
Yes, it could be, because once she leaves that nursing home has to make sure she's safe. They cannot discharge her without making sure she's safe. But once she goes home, they can contact us and say, hey, we just need for y'all to look in on her, make sure she's safe. Everything should be in place when they leave a nursing home, but sometimes it's not.
But this person appears to be all with it, but not making rational decisions. For instance, they always want to go home,
Yes.
no matter what. But once they're home, they're not able to take care of themselves.
We would try to see how, like if she may need rails in her home, we can hire someone to come put rails and help her walk through the house. We can put rails in the bathroom, wherever she may need to help her. Our motto is least restrictive. We try to keep someone in the house as long as possible, because we know that's where they want to be. And if anything, that we can set them up with a provider, we can set them up with, just depending on what time the providers come through, dads, through everything, we can just do that to let them stay at home. But capacity is the key word. If she has like memory issues, then we have to send a doctor in, or if her doctor haven't evaluated her, we're gonna get an evaluation so that we can see where she stands. If the doctor says she's 50-50, we have to allow her to stay in her home. Yes, ma'am.
Who pays for the grab bars? You said you could have
We
somebody.
do.
Oh, you do?
APS pays for a lot, and we don't generally just tell everybody. We'll go to the house and we'll say, okay, well, what are some of the things you may need? We pay for rent, utilities. We don't pay for roofs because they are so much. What we do is refer you out to City of Houston, because they have a program. It might be 2 years, but they have a program. We've paid for utility bills, groceries, bars on the house, wheelchair ramps, steps to be made. Well, I'm trying to think of some of the things I pay for. I mean, it's just, we pay utility bills a lot, we pay a lot.
What's the criteria?
Yeah.
What's the criteria?
You just have to be disabled and elderly. You have to fit our criteria for an APS client.
And what is that criteria?
Is there income?
It's,
Is there an income level that you have to
No.
be below?
there's no income. But what we're gonna do, it's 18 or older disabled, and it's 55 and older 55 and older or
Seniors?
elderly. No, I'm sorry, 65 and older
Right.
for elderly. But if someone is 55, if someone is 28 years old and they need a wheelchair ramp, and they're in a wheelchair, we can actually see they need a wheelchair ramp, we would do a wheelchair ramp for them.
So I have an upper middle class family over here who might need something like grab bars and we can just refer them to you?
Okay. You said upper middle class.
Yes.
We're gonna look at their income too. It's not an income guideline, but we're gonna look at the income.
Okay.
We usually service people who can't afford to get these things done to their home. Now, if they can afford it, depending on some things like, we have people who have like a high utility bill, something may have happened, but they have a substantial amount of money. But we're like, well, can you pay some and we'll pay? And some people might be just mismanaging their money. So they will, and then we'll pick up the rest. But it just depends on we'll go out and we'll look at all circumstances.
Great.
Okay. So APS is just, we're out there in the community, and a lot of people, they will call us. A lot of family dynamics, we get a lot of those calls. And it's a lot, we just try to come and talk to the person. But
Sound like just one person.
But when we talk to people, we just need to let them know everything will be okay for a little while, then they'll get back to the same family dynamics. So we just try to let them know we're out in the community, we're here, and we can come in your home anytime. Now, as a caregiver, you all have to be very, very careful, because when you go to someone's house, they may not be in their right state of mind, something may have happened, then they may accuse you of taking a spoon, a fork, anything. So they're gonna call up here to Miss Mary Lou. Mary Lou have to call it in because she's state licensed. And we're gonna do an investigation on you. And then if you have taken this item and the evidence points to you, you will be placed on an EMR list for APS. That means you cannot get another caregiver job in the state of Texas. So you have to be very, very careful what people say. Well, can you take my laundry here? Or can you take my ring and get it clean? Don't do it. Don't do it. Because we have a lot of people who are placed on the EMR list because they've taken something very small and they didn't have to. So just be very careful with that as well. Yes, ma'am.
In the case of a caregiver that's assigned to a client and we get a call that the caregiver has left the client is bedbound, and we find out that the caregiver has left, leaving the client alone. I know we've reported that. What's the process for that caregiver? I know they're doing an investigation right now. So she will be on that list of not being able to practice as a CNA or a home health aide in the state of Texas?
We will see why she left the caregiver at home. Was it?
No, the client. She left the client. There shouldn't be a why. The client was completely bedbound and Alzheimer's.
But it could have been an emergency, but she should have contacted you all. And if she didn't contact you all to get coverage, then we have a problem with that. Because this woman could have been unsafe at the time. Or she could have contacted a family member and say, hey, I need to go, something has happened. But if she just left, she may be placed on the EMR list.
How long does that process take?
We have to go through our expert. That could take up to like 2 or 3 months once we finish the investigation. And then so when we're trying to contact, because what happens is that we have to contact her and get her side of the story. And if she doesn't ever contact us, but if the evidence is there, we're going to validate it and we're going to put her on EMR list.
Okay. And when, that's a different list than the, than Dad's
Yes.
list?
Yes.
It is. Okay.
Because I guess dads have to step in and investigate because you all are licensed. We do the community and they do our paperwork.
Yeah. So if we report to APS, then we also have to report to DADS.
Yes.
That's because we're a licensed agency. But let's say as an individual, we just want to report APS. We can do that without going through DADS?
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, so are we saying there's another list out there? I've never heard of this.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Because you're licensed. Even people who are unlicensed.
Well, yeah, but
refer to dads.
we're only, our mandate is to go against the DADS employability register. Now, are you saying you all maintain a different list?
Yes.
Well, we ought to be doing that one too.
I do.
Why wouldn't DADS require that we also bounce it against you?
I don't know. Dads, we're all under the same umbrella, but they have different policies than we have, and we don't even know what their policies are. We report unlicensed personal care homes to dads as well when it's something going on. But y'all are licensed by the state. You have to. The unlicensed personal care home does not have to because they're not licensed by the state.
All right, so just so I understand, a person can be on your list as unemployable
Yes, sir.
and not on DAD's list.
If they're licensed, they have to be on both lists. If it's the unlicensed personal care home, we have to branch out and tell dads. Dads are gonna have to do their own investigation for that.
Yeah, but I'm trying to understand. A person, not a licensed agency, not unlicensed, not a company, a person. If you put a person on your list, is that same person on the DAD's list?
See, that's all we can do. When we put the person on our list, we can refer it to dads. Dads are gonna have to do their own investigation.
So they may or may not be.
Yeah, it's up to them to put them on the list. Because we don't
We
work
need to know
together
how to
hand in
get to that
hand.
list.
We're under the same umbrella,
do?
but it's two different
You do
policies.
too now?
So you're not required when the senior is tied to an agency like ours, you're not required to get in touch with that.
Well, we can, but because
Okay.
y'all are licensed, dads automatically gets a referral. You don't have to give a referral, but dads gets the referral.
In order for us to make a dad's report, we have to contact APS and get an APS number first, and then contact dads.
There you go. That's right.
I have a question. I don't know if it's been, I've been listening in and out, but if you're in a neighborhood, just say you're in a neighborhood and you're taking care of someone already in that neighborhood, but you notice when you come into that neighborhood, it's a person that is being abused and you see it.
What is your definition of abuse?
Whereas, how can I put it? Instead of walking, like, you know, like how you're supposed to be with the client, you telling the client, come on, I'm not gonna say the words, but come on, come on, you know, they're having they're having a parent just walk and, you know, cussing them out and stuff like that.
It's verbally abusive.
I thought so. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that that's, you know,
Yeah.
and you can report that anonymously. You don't
Yes.
have to. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But once you report it anonymously, try to give us much information because it's hard for us to contact you back because it's anonymous.
I'm a picture taking person, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna take
Hey, look
pictures.
at that.
If it's verbal abuse, we don't know what they're saying.
That's what you got recorders for. Because me, I'm the type of person when I see stuff that I know. I've been doing this 25 years.
Okay.
So when I see things that it's not, you know, literally right. To me, the first thing I'm gonna do is pull out my cell phone because I've seen it several times and it's been in a neighborhood at a prior client that I had, and it just so happens I go by there so periodically and it's still happening, and I'm like, I wonder if, you know, the family.
Then why report it anonymously? Because if you have the evidence, if you report it anonymously, how are we gonna get the evidence?
I can give you the evidence, but why would I have?
No, because if you report it anonymously, you can't call that 1-800 number and get they're gonna give you a number. And you can't call them and give them a number because you reported it anonymously. So that means you can't help me with the video because you don't know who has the case and they won't give you that information.
I think maybe though, you would not share who reported it though.
No,
Even
we do
if you gave her your name and information, they're not gonna go tell that person it was you, as I understand it.
Okay, because
It
that would
will
be my thing,
remain.
because, you know, I literally had a person, friend of the family, that it happened to, that they reported that somebody, their neighbor was getting abused. And do you know, he got killed behind it.
But let me tell you, like I said, we cannot tell. I will not lose my job. And I tell people all the time, I don't know. I know, because I might be talking to you and I'm at your house. But I'm not gonna tell you it was her. You might assume it's her, but you'll never get it from me because I can't lose my job.
Right,
But
okay.
if you have that information, then what you need to do, you need to leave your name and number so we can call you back and then you can send it to the work group. And we're gonna like, okay, we have this on videotape, but it's not gonna say it's coming from you.
Okay, that's what I needed to know.
We'll never tell them because they may have assumed, oh, I can't speak for other caseworkers, I can speak for what I do. And I'm not a caseworker.
Because I noticed that some people, they say, you know, being in this field, it really takes heart to do it. And some people will say that they got the heart to do it, but they really don't have the heart to do it. And they're there mainly for the money. But if you really don't have the heart to do it and you sitting up there doing it, and you know, it makes it hard for those that really do have the heart for it. Because like I said, I've been doing it for 25 years. I started doing it with my baby when I was pregnant with my son. So it's like, you
How
know.
you feel about your job is how I feel about mine. I have children that I'm still raising, and I can't lose my job.
Right.
But I try to do the best that I can within my job. I have people calling me on weekends. 9 o'clock at night, my phone is going off. My husband's like, why are you asking? Because I might miss something. I need to get this information for this client, and that's just it. I said, I might work 8 to 5, but I'm still a worker. I'm still a caseworker. I have an elderly mother, and I give information to my mother. I'm like, Mom, do not go tell anybody. I'm on your list. You know, I try to let them know because you can put me in a hole with a mess because I'm a victim. So I mean, just people. My mom had people calling me asking me questions. So I mean, I'm an all-around caseworker. And I don't. If y'all have any questions, y'all can take my number and be willing to call me and just ask me and say, hey, you think this is worth a report? And I'm saying, yeah, call this 1-800. Or no, give me this information, blah, blah, blah. But if y'all want my number, I can give you my number.
Leave it with Jeannie, that'd be great. If you leave the card with Maggie to give to Jeannie, then if there's any problem at all, that you can just go through her.
Because you might have some issues, or you might think, oh, maybe I shouldn't say anything. But, I mean, speak out, because it is people who are getting abused. I have a case now, the lady, I seen her, I'm just giving you this example real quick, though. I seen her at the nursing home, she's at the rehab, talking, everything, she's ready to go home. Within 3 weeks, the nursing home didn't call me and tell me that they was discharging her, but I found her. And so when I found her, she was back in the hospital. I'm like, what is she doing back in the hospital? She's supposed to go home. I went up to the hospital. Her bed sore was so bad that she went home. The daughter is saying, well, mom's not, the home health care people couldn't get in. They wasn't coming. And the home health care people are saying she would let us in. So you're going back and forth. But I told that family, I'm reporting this to the DA, and I'm gonna let the DA look on this issue. So that type of stuff, because this man was like, you're so nice. I said, but don't mess with my seniors, disabled people. Because I just feel like this, you need to be punished for what you do to people. You're not gonna sit around here, this woman wouldn't even talk in the hospital, and then she passed away. And that was just hurtful, because I had just saw her 3 weeks prior to that. So, I mean, it's just, if you feel that something needs to be reported, report it. Nothing's too small, nothing's too big. We'll come out there and get it. But please, just have some information so we can contact you.
Donna Randall, right here.
You did.
Okay, so we're gonna have yes.
May I say one thing to caregivers? If you see something like that, if you witness it in your scope of your job with us, you know what to do, right? Who are you going to call first?
Jeannie.
Okay. And she'll coordinate with you to get a hold of adult protective services.
And I'll leave my number just in case. If y'all have any questions, feel free. Now we won't be at work tomorrow nor Monday. Call me on Tuesday.
We'll call you
My party.
Thank you so very much.
Great job.
Thank you for having me.
Great job.
Okay. It is time press. Look at your
For you. So we're gonna get started, and Mary Lou's got me on a real tight time frame here, so I'm gonna get going. Yeah, here we go. We want to start with introductions this morning, but I'm gonna start in a bit of an unusual way. I'm gonna introduce us to you. Does that make any sense? Let me show you what I mean. Who we are. Well, we are all of us in this room. We are Encore Caregivers. And who we are is what we do. Mike and Nora came up with our mission, our purpose, our mission. This is what we strive to achieve every single day at Encore. We provide assistance to our clients in order for them to maintain their independence as much and for as long as possible in an environment of their choosing. Fundamentally, that's what we do every single day. The key word is obviously independence. And certainly that's where you are. Giving that client a sense of independence. They can't do it on their own any longer. You guys step in and help them achieve that level of independence. That's really the miracle of what Encore Caregivers does every single day. But that's not totally who we are. It's certainly what we do, but it's also how we do it. Oh, come on. Don't tell me you're not going to cooperate with me. There we go. Well, here's how we do it. Duty. We all feel this sense of duty. We're all called to this occupation that we've chosen. And you know, it doesn't come from here. It comes from right here. And I know that, and I know many of you believe that, because you've taught me a lot with respect to that in the year that I've been here. That this is really an emotional endeavor that we're on. And you guys are very, very special for providing the service. We also do it with honesty. Honesty with the clients, honesty with one another. We believe that all of us employed here at Encore are fundamentally honest people. We do it professionally. That means all the big things that you do, like being there on time, applying your skills in assisting that client, but all the little things too. The clocking in and out, the attitude that you have when you cross that threshold and walk into a client's home. There are 100 small things that all add up to being a professional in this business. That's another thing many of you have taught me over the years that I've been here. And we do it with mutual respect. Our pledge here at Encore, the office staff, is to respect you. We just ask for that in return. And I'm so pleased to say that's the relationship I feel with nearly everybody here at Encore. And I know the office staff feels the same way. So that's who we are. It's what we do, and it's how we do it. Whether you're part of the office staff or whether you're part of the care team that's out in Houston every day providing the care. So let's continue on with the introductions.
Whoa, door prize.
Door prize, okay.
I was just opening the door. I was not trying to interrupt you. I was just
Well, we're, okay, well, sorry. I always get surprised by the door prize.
Door prize, that's the best part of the whole thing.
Okay.
Beautiful little things. Let's see who's
Okay,
gonna get
so
it.
something to hold things like.
You're very quiet.
Whatever you collect, seashells.
Yeah.
Okay, we wanna do it.
Oh.
You better
Okay, it is 388 094. 388-094. There it
Go,
is.
there it is. Hey, Mary. Sure.
Mary Lou, do we want to do another one? Sure. And I'm Nora Aiden, by the way. I'm here, but you let the. Okay, here we go. Bird in the hand.
Ooh,
Not pretty?
that's very good.
That'd be really cute at Easter with a little wreath around it.
That's all the idea.
Okay. 388-091. Okay, is that, Mary Lou, is that all we want to do, or?
Right now, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now we can start with the introduction. I want you guys to introduce yourself. Right? Give me your name, and we got a lot of you, and we're on a tight time frame, so please just give me your name and how many years that you've been with Encore, or how long you've been with Encore. Can we start with you, Antoinette?
You just told y'all my name. I'm Antoinette. I've been here 3 years, feel like 4.
Thanks.
Hi, everybody. My name is Grace, and I've been here for a month and a half.
Encore Caregivers, yeah. Geneva.
My name is Geneva, and I've been with Encore about 4 years.
Yeah.
My name is Valerie. I just started this month.
Yeah, very newest caregiver. Thank you, Valerie.
My name is Joyce, and I've been with Encore not up to a year, but some
Not quite a year. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
good ones.
Yeah. Carrie? 7 months. 3 months.
My name is Martha, and I've been with Encore since August this year.
Good.
My name is Basura Kadeji.
9 months.
Hi, my name is Yeshi. I've been out for 3 years.
Yes. Here?
My name is Mary O'Way. I've been Encore for 1 year and 10 months.
Months.
I've been for
2+ years.
I'm Tula. I've been with Encore for 3 years.
3 years, Tula? Yeah.
Veronica, 1 year.
Brenda?
Brenda Newby, almost 2 years.
Almost a year. Oh. Well, you've been here as long as I have. I think you guys have been here a long time because all of your face I've known since I've been here.
Agnes?
Agnes?
Almost 4 years.
Almost
2
4
years really, because I went to school and I came 4 years.
Rose?
Rose, 2 years and 3 months.
2 years and 3 months, Lisa?
2 years, 3 months.
Lisa, 7 years. I just had an
7 years. Wow. Yeah. Thank you, Lisa.
The oldest.
I am Wanda Johnson, and I've been with Encore 7 years.
7 years. Yes.
I'm William, I've been with him 6 years.
6 years. Very good.
My name is Bomi. They call me Bibi. I've been here 3 weeks.
No more. You got here as soon as you could, though, right? Angela.
Angela Tatum, been here almost 2 years.
Almost 3 years. Aladeen?
6 months?
6 months. Well, welcome, and thank you all for being here, and we appreciate that you've chosen Encore as the agency for employment here, and we hope to go on many more years with each and every one. Let me introduce the office staff to you now. First, I want to start with the founders of Encore and the owners of Encore, who started Encore Caregivers in 2009, Mike and Nora Aiden. But as many of you know, this wasn't the first time that they've been in this business. No, their history goes back to the 1990s, and I believe around 1996, when they started, anybody know which company they were involved with?
Cameo.
Used to work for them. Cameo Caregivers, and they grew that into a very, very successful agency in Houston, and sold that in 2004. And I think they missed the business. I think they missed it tremendously. After 5 years, they jumped right back in, and we are so thankful.
Can I
that they
say
did.
something?
Absolutely.
Milton says he thinks we missed it. We sold Cameo with a 5-year non-compete agreement, 5 years and 2 days later. Encore found it. So yes, we did miss it. Jeannie was with us at Cameo, and Stephanie was with us at Cameo, and some of the others you might have known through the years have retired, but they were with us at Cameo and eventually found us over here, and some of our caregivers here today were with us at Cameo too. So it's great to
It's just
have
a
that longevity.
fabulous story, and we want to thank the agents, because without them, none of us would be sitting in this room today. So appreciate it very, very much. Mike, do you have something?
Yeah. I should have fired you a long time ago. That goes for you too, and you.
If you were gonna fire us, you should have fired us when we were in Cameo.
I have had that happen where people, that we didn't quite get along at
I think
Cameo,
I
and
did
then
get
they
fired
show up
from
over
Cameo.
here and they say, I've changed. I said, so have I, I'll take you.
You heard Mr. Mike, I think I did get fired from Cameo.
Anyhow, it's great to see it. Old timers, new timers, really, really new timers. This is a really good company, and you want to take advantage of it and give them all the chances you can in the world. That's the reason folks stick around, okay? And Milton's been here 1 year running the show, but he goes back at least 6 or 7 years when we had had Encore, started Encore, and then prior to that. So we've been acquainted, what?
Since 1997, that's 20 years.
No, yeah, right.
20 years?
Right, exactly. Long time, long time. So he's not, we're not new to each other. And he and Mary Lou have done a really, really good job of trying to add to what we were already doing. They've made some changes, as you all know. And sometimes I kind of scratch my head and I say, what do you mean direct deposit? No, you gotta bring that paperwork in and give me that, and then I'll trade you for your check. Anyhow, they say, they think all this is gonna work, so. But, you know, old dogs, it's hard to teach new tricks. Right? So anyhow, thank you for coming, because if you don't come to this, you don't get an idea of what things are really like. You know what I'm saying? And so it's really neat that you showed up and that you get advantage. Plus, it's required by the state. So you don't have a choice, okay? Great, good to talk to you all.
Thank you, Mike. Next, I would like to introduce that person that's been responsible for, let's see, those Thursday games that you all get an opportunity to play to win bubble sticks and all kinds of stuff. There really is a purpose to those games, and Mary Lou's going to go into more detail about that, and she's also in charge of all things marketing in the company, including that TV commercial. I hope you've all seen our TV commercial that we're running on TV, as well as cheap cookie maker. Those are her chocolate chip cookies that everybody enjoys. Everybody comes. Next, Jeannie Childress, who is a corporate treasurer, is what we like to call her. And Jeannie, among her many duties as the nurse, Jeannie assumes personal responsibility for the quality of care that is delivered to our clients. And she is ever vigilant about that and has a very, very high standard, as many of you know. And we surely appreciate that. Encore has a reputation out there driven by the standards that Jeannie has set and delivered out in the field by you guys. And we appreciate that very, very much.
You said something about Judy. I've been following her since 2005 when she was in Jackson Cape. I've been following her everywhere she went. I'll be.
Well, you're following a very good person, so we're glad you're here.
But I just want to say that Forbes magazine every year puts out Employers of the Year, and Encore should be on the top list because of the owners. And I wouldn't be here if it weren't for the owners that are just wonderful to work for. You couldn't ask for better people.
Thank you. And we couldn't ask for a better nurse here, Jeannie. Thank you very much. Let me introduce Paula. Paula, the newest member of our office team support team. Paula joined us a couple of months ago, and we tried to tell her what it was like working here at Encore, and she joined anyway. And we're glad she did. She's got her feet on the ground and really starting to run at full speed now, and we appreciate that very, very much. Thank you. I want to introduce you to the face of Encore and the voice of Encore. And I say that because it's oftentimes the very first voice and the very first face that people see when they walk through the Encore door. And that's Maggie, of course. In addition to doing all the things that you know that Maggie does, one of the most important things that she does is monitor the credentials. And you guys know that.
Yeah.
And so you know when you've got a credential that's coming up about a month ahead of time, you're starting to hear from Maggie on that. And she keeps track right on up to when that is. It's on the back of your check. She's talking to you about it all the time. And you know this too, Maggie never forgets. Right? That is very important. We want to keep our license active. We want to keep it clean, and you guys keeping up with your credentials is a huge, huge part of that. And Maggie's the one that keeps us all honest and organized with respect to that.
In a kind way, though, Maggie have a kind spirit. I've never seen her raise her voice and never fun.
Isn't that something?
But if I had a job, it'd be something.
She does it all with a very, very awesome style and grace to her about me, and we're very, very fortunate to have Maggie with us. Thank you, Maggie. Two more, and I'm gonna bring them out here at the same time. Stephanie and Courtney. How many times have you heard me say, hey, we're going to get rid of timesheets? I don't know when we're going to get rid of them, but we're going to get rid of timesheets. It's been a project that we've been working on for months. And I can remember sitting around the conference table with these two saying, how could we possibly get rid of timesheets? None of us knew at the time. And I'm talking earlier in the year, like February in the year. We had no idea how we would go about that. But little by little, we start working on it, working on the project. It just expanded and expanded and expanded. And I want to just tell you how grateful I am and how proud I am of these two who have really taken the burden of that project on their shoulders and have done an awesome job to get us where we are. Courtney, on the schedule side of it, has taken what she was doing back in January and February, how she managed that schedule, just kind of pushed it aside and has had to come up with an entirely different way of doing our scheduling, how we're managing the claiming of the hours and all that. Courtney dreamed that whole thing up, And little by little by little improved it to get us to the point to where we are now. Well, that's only half of the project, though. The other half is Stephanie over here. We all know Stephanie, and we all know how important Stephanie is, especially on Thursdays, right? We know exactly. We see the product of Stephanie's labor, and I'll say it's a labor of love for Stephanie, is that on Thursday, we all get that envelope. And Stephanie, too, for years, did that in a certain way. It was very, very difficult because we make a pledge. When all of you guys start, we make that pledge to do Thursday's payday, and we're going to have a check ready for it. And that check is going to be accurate. Well, was extremely, and we've grown and we've grown and grown, and Stephanie still meets that Thursday deadline. It's a huge process, very, very difficult. Stephanie, we want to get rid of timesheets. Further, we want to have funds available to the caregivers because many of them are telling us they'd like direct deposit. Figure it out, Stephanie.
That's the answer or the response I get. Figure it out.
Figure it out, Stephanie. Stephanie goes into her office, learns that whole process, and comes out and says, Milton, none of the processes I have right now necessarily translate to not having timesheets, and there's a problem with direct deposit. And the problem is delivering on that Thursday promise that we made to you. It says, I have to back everything up and be done with payroll on Monday. That's impossible. We can't do that. Oh, yes, we can. Stephanie figured out exactly how to do that and has managed to do that. We've worked through the direct deposit in the office internally. She's worked out all the bugs in the system, and I'm proud to announce that we are near capable of doing that. I didn't say we were 100% capable, I said near capable. To all of us here, this has been a journey of 1,000 miles for us to figure out all the problems and negotiate all of those things to get to where we are now. And we have traveled 990 miles of that 1,000. We got 10 miles left to go, and we can't do it. We need your help to do that last 10 miles. And that's what we're going to talk to you about today. And it has to do with the things that you're familiar with. One, clocking in and out. From an administrative point of view, this is the most important function in the company. This determines the amount of dollars on a paycheck, this determines the invoices to our clients, and this determines the accuracy of both of those things. The simple thing of clocking in and clocking out after your shift. Now there are 3 ways in which we do it. 2 are great ways, one's not so hot. Well, the best ways of doing it, and I know many of you are doing it, is the ERSP Mobile using the geolocation service associated with your phone and doing it within a 300-foot tolerance of where the client's home is. Excellent way of doing it. That is the best way that we can push information to you about your shifts, about your clients that you're going to meet up with, and the best way to pull information from you back to us. And one of those is clocking in and out. The other way is telephony using the client's phone. Many of you do that, and thank you very much. We've got a group of people that insist upon using their own personal cell phone. That's not a good way of doing it. That is the least accurate way of doing it. Right. So as I look at that, and I look at it several times during the week, and see how people are clocking in and out, how they're what issues they may be having with clocking in and out, and I see that we have some caregivers that insist upon using their personal cell phone, even though the rest of the caregivers on the case are using the client's phone. So to me, there's no excuse for that. And we're gonna have to eliminate all of those to make sure that these timesheets can go away, to make sure that we can offer direct deposit. Now, Stephanie's gonna tell you, this direct deposit thing is not a given. And we don't consider it a right, we consider it a privilege. And those folks who are using these methods are the folks that are gonna be offered that privilege, is what they do it or not. So, let me kind of pass the baton here to Courtney, and she can talk about some of the things that we need to have you do in order to finish that last 10 miles.
All right, so first to get to that 1,000-mile marker we're trying to get to for direct deposit, we have to cut that clock-in time very tight, meaning on time. 5 minutes before clock-in or 5 minutes after clock-in. Y'all can do it, right? Really? Yeah. Come on, y'all. Y'all can do it. All right, so I'm gonna pick on somebody. Hans, look alive. All right. What do you do when a client asks you to arrive early or to stay longer than the scheduled shift time?
Oh, yeah.
We got like 3 Hanses in here. There you go. You call your supervisor. That's correct. So that we can adjust the time in the schedule so that you don't get that error message when you clock in because you didn't let us know, hey, I came in 20 minutes early, 30 minutes early, so you can clock in. Okay?
When is the best time to do that?
That's right. Immediately?
As soon as you arrive.
Absolutely. As soon as you can call us about changes to that schedule, the better off we're all going to be. Okay?
All right. Let me pick on somebody else that looks like they're asleep. Lisa. All right, what do you do when you realize that you're going to be late to a shift? Everybody should know this one. Call the office. Can somebody tell me why is that important? Anybody?
So you can call the client so they can know.
Say it again, Antoinette.
So you can call the client so they can know.
Exactly. So the client's sitting there waiting for you to get their day started. They want to know, where's my caregiver? And also, those that are on 24-hour shifts, if you work nights and you're ready to go home, you've been there 12 hours, where's my relief at? And vice versa, right? We've all been through that. So that's why it's really important to call us and let us know if you're running late.
Courtney, when should they start doing these things?
When should they start?
I did. I started, didn't I, Courtney?
Yes. Miss Tatum started. She did. This is something that, I mean, immediately. And just a side note real quick, you guys, about being ill. If you know that you are ill the night before, what should you do? Call me, let me know. Hey, Miss Courtney, you might want to line up a backup because I'm not feeling well.
Are you sure you're gonna take it lightly?
Because I do that all the time.
Really, that's a wrap? No, I appreciate that. If you call us, let us know if your baby's feeling ill the night before so I can line somebody up.
We're going to expect that you do these things on your very next shift. Okay?
All right, I have a question. Y'all say all this, y'all need our help with the extra 10. All right. What about, that don't pertain to me, because I have all these emails showing that I've been doing everything, so I should have been getting direct deposit. Y'all, I'm talking about me.
You know why Antoinette gets them? Because Antoinette gets there about 20, 30 minutes early. Very.
But I have a phobia about being late. That's a phobia.
And that's a good thing.
Y'all have nothing to do with y'all.
That's a good thing.
And I'm always on time.
You're another one. Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. Is 2 minutes considered late, like it's talking like 7 minutes?
No.
Nope. They have that 5-minute window on either side of it.
Sometimes I clock in like 7:02, and then I will receive a message.
That's definitely adjusting the time. She playing with the system.
I'm guilty. But to the client, 7:02 is considered late.
Late, yeah.
That's right. That's right,
But the
Courtney.
system do send me a message like.
It says that you're late.
Hey, here's one thing I want to say, because I've been looking at this for months now. we at Encore are extremely fortunate in that many of you, a big percentage of you caregivers are doing this every single day, every week, every month, month after month after month. And I just want to thank you. I mean, we stand up here and talk about what's wrong, what we want you to improve, but many of you are already doing that. And I just want to thank you, and you guys are the ones that are making it happen. Thank you very much.
I have to say that I am guilty sometimes about using my phone, but that's when the client is on the phone. They're talking to their sisters or
use
family.
people, not dialing the
Well,
800 number.
they know my situation with that, so. But I think I'm pretty good on getting there on time.
We understand that some of you do not have data plans, so forth, and can't use the ERSP mobile. Okay, we're not getting anybody demerit point for that. But you folks must be using that client's phone. As Veronica said, sometimes it's not possible. They don't have a phone, for example. Sometimes in facilities, we give you another number within that facility to use. We're going to work those issues out with you over the course of time, and we're going to be very, very diligent about doing that. And sometimes it's when you call it. Sometimes you guys hit that door and boom, the client's asking you to do something, right? They're wanting you to do something right away, and it's difficult to get over that phone and clock out. Sometimes you have to be insistent upon doing it. Obviously, if they've got something important for you to do, you need to do that. But to inform them that, say, I need to clock in. Just give me 1 minute to go over and clock in. Okay?
Milton, you want to mention the care plans?
Well, yeah. Care plans are coming up, but I want to get Stephanie's information in here real quickly.
I still have a question, please.
Yes.
About the clocking, because usually I use my phone. And you know about the client that I take care of. She didn't complain to me about using her phone, but the other company that take care of her during the day, I had that one time talking to them, why are you using the phone? So usually I don't bother. So I use the mobile thing, but I've complained to you. I usually clock in at home, but then sometimes you say your geolocation is not allowing you to clock in. So that's why I call.
That's
so
why you
what
call.
do you do? Yeah, so that's why I use my phone to call, because the thing will not allow me to
And
use
you're
the mobile.
you're a good case in point. You're over at the
Like spring on
at
this
MD.
street.
That's right. Yeah.
Holy Spring. No.
Yeah. The geolocation thing.
Yeah, it's always doing that.
That's right. Usually in facilities we have some problems because it's taking those satellites. The 3 satellites up there have to hit your phone to pinpoint your location, and sometimes it's blocked. I know what you're saying. Sometimes or in certain places of the home, depending on what the construction of the roof and all of that. So oftentimes, if you just step, let's say you clock in just before you hit that door, you drive up, you're getting ready to get out of your car, you clock in.
Oh, before I go inside.
That's right, because you got a clear shot at the sky to get that done. In Houston, there are tall buildings all around. Sometimes that interferes with it, and we're working through those. You guys are calling in saying, "Hey, I can't clock in. Give me invalid clock-ins and all that," and I'll text you back. And I look at that, so we'll work it out. We'll continue, and we'll get it right. Let's move on to Stephanie, though. We talked about the operational side of clocking in and out and how you guys should do it. Let's talk about the administrative side and the expense side of how to do it. Steph?
The other thing, along with having your time accurate in the computer, that makes everything moving faster to having payroll done on Monday, if you all clock in and do it correctly. But we also need to get your mileage and expenses, which are big things that are late getting into the office. Through ERSP Mobile, you can log in your mileage and also your expenses. Does everybody know how to do that? Yes.
They tell us, we get told that, I don't know, but I heard it from somebody, that you don't put any mileage as you come to work unless you take clients to doing some shopping or hair things?
This is correct.
Great question.
This is correct. We don't pay you to drive back and forth to work unless you drive over 25 miles one way. Then we will reimburse you over the 25 miles. Now, if you are taking your client anywhere in your car, even if it's 1 mile, we will reimburse you. And when you clock out of your shift and you're logging out, there's a place to put in your mileage. And you should do it at that point so that everything is accurate.
So when it started, this from your house to your client's house? Oh, y'all owe me some back money. You need to pull me up.
We're gonna run your Ms. Parker and see how far you are.
To reiterate what Stephanie said, telephony, ERP Mobile give you a very obvious place to put your mileage in on that shift. And that's how you should do it. When you clock out, put that mileage in. We want to know every single day the expenses that you occurred, okay? And you have to let us know at the end of your shift. Now that's mileage, but what about?
Wait, BB has a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, since I started working here 3 weeks ago, I've been using the ERSP. But I heard from a colleague that if I should be using the telephony, that if I don't use it, that Uncle gives some bonuses that I would be missing on that. So.
The cat is clawing its way out of the bag. You're right. There are things that Mike and I are working on with respect to future bonuses, and it's going to be performance related, clocking in, and all of those things are going to be involved in that, and we're going to save that for another time. But you're right. That's something that you guys can look forward to in the future. Let's talk about the expenses, though.
Yes, ma'am. Hold on. Yes,
One more
ma'am.
question about clocking. Like most of the times in the morning I use the client's phone, but in the evening I use my phone because most of the times we are not in the house. Either we are in the son's house or we are out doing some sort of businesses. So that is why I don't clock out with our clients. Most of the times in the evening I use my phone. How do you take that phone?
So basically, she's just asking if it's okay to clock in with one method and clock out with another method, right? It shouldn't be a problem. Because if you're at Mrs. Tomforty's son's house, there's no way that you can get back to the Hallmark and clock out. So that's not a problem. But let us know. Just say, hey, Miss Courtney, this is what happened. This is why I clocked out using this method. If you're getting like an error message or something.
Oh, I have to call you.
Well, or if you're using telephony, and you would have to be using telephony in that scenario, there is a great way to let us know. Not only situations like that, but many other situations, and one that Stephanie's getting ready to talk about. There's a voice function. You can leave us a voicemail. That shows right up on our computer. And many of you are doing it. So we see the button, we hit it. You guys are telling us information about why you clocked out at a certain time, for example, or expenses that you incurred. That is, in telephony, that is a great way to drive that information to us.
Expenses are the second thing. If you incur any expenses, such as parking, or if you have to buy groceries for your client, you can leave a voice message and tell us that you had an expense with that particular shift, or you can take a picture of that receipt and get it into the office. It's very important that we have all of this information before Monday so that we can get payroll done on Monday and move that extra step forward towards getting direct deposit done. I have to have payroll done on Monday in order to have direct deposit by Thursday. So all of these little things, it doesn't seem like a whole lot, but all of these little things add up to time towards not getting done on Monday. So it's very important that all of that information is in and accurate.
We're going to put a lot of this in writing and feed it to you guys via your paycheck. So we'll go over all of this one more time with you guys and help us get that last 10 miles. It's very, very important.
One more question. This new thing was sending every day about who you have to go to.
What do you mean sending?
Do it by text message. You know what I'm saying? Your client.
Like if overseas?
No.
broadcast.
Every day.
Broadcast.
That, you know, I'm at home doing homework or something, and I have a text message saying that I have to go.
To inform about your schedule.
It's annoying.
Really?
But
But just come to me, just let me know, because on each caregiver, we set it up for everybody. It's the reminder that you get around 5 o'clock to remind you have a shift the next day. That's just to remind you, hey, look, you got a shift tomorrow. Some people that have like the same schedule, it's pointless. So if you don't like it, let me know, I can opt you out for that. But if you like it, keep it. That's my way of not having to, we don't have to cut those schedules out every week for
It
you
works
guys.
for some people, but for me, I mean, come on, I know I was on
I want my $50, because you said it was going to be
Yeah, but. She was scared of that, and I said I was gonna be good. I didn't Did I say that? I said good, not quiet.
You did.
I've been good. You think, Stephanie? Oh, yes.
Okay, Jeannie, it's a thank you very much, you guys. A great explanation.
Y'all gonna help us out?
Let me make a comment. I don't know if you realize what has transitioned over the last 7 years from the way we started, and even before then at Cameron. Hell, I used to struggle the night before your paychecks were due, trying to get all this stuff. God, I wonder what she meant on this timesheet. It looked like garbage. I mean, totally, it was incredible. And we had one person that did nothing but chase caregivers for care plans because we couldn't submit it to the insurance without, right? I mean, it was just horrible. And did you eliminate timesheets at this point?
Well, we got the 10 miles to go.
Oh, okay.
We got 10 more miles.
I can't even imagine that. In fact, I'm very nervous. So, just cooperate and do what 98% of the people are already doing. You know, at A&M, when you go to a game at Aggie Stadium, if any of you all have ever been there, and you sit on the student side, if you attempt to sit down in your seat, you'll hear this, 2%er, 2%er, 2%er. And what that signifies, there's always 2% that want to sit on the seat instead of stand up the whole game, which is the tradition of the student body, right? Right? And so we need to convert to 2%. This is all we're talking about. And we know that this is the 98%.
Exactly.
Anyhow, I mean, it's incredible to me. In fact, I may go back to work.
You're welcome.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Come on, Meg.
All righty, here we go. 388-085.
Wait, something in my phone number. What's that?
85.
Did you say what it is?
I did. 388. I'll
It has a card.
388.
Hard to get card.
There we go. There we go.
There's a few left.
Yeah, sure.
One more? One more.
Shovel up. Maybe it will be mine.
Oh. You can actually make a pie with that pumpkin. All righty. What's your number?
You gonna give it to me?
89. 388-089.
Go! All right. Several months ago, Jeannie came into my office and said, Milton, I want to start another project. I go, Jeannie, we're into this project. She said, I know, but I want to start another project. She goes, I know, we're working hard on getting rid of those timesheets and doing things paperless. Okay? She goes, I want to start a project with care plans. I want to get those care plans paperless as well. So we started on that project and we're diligently working toward doing that. In fact, a couple of weeks ago, I flipped a couple switches in our system to see if we could drive that information out to you guys via your phones or by telephony. And many of you start calling in, hey, it's asking me about the activities that I completed during. And so that was very gratifying to me to hear many of you calling in, hey, what are those activities the thing is asking me to do? So I know that part of the system works really well. Now we need to get the activities into the system and show you guys how to use that so that at the end of shift, when you're clocking out, you spend an extra few minutes, and we've set up a kind of a dummy account for me to do, and I've been clocking in, out, and doing care plans on my cell phone, and I've got it down to about 3 to 4 minutes to do the entire care plan. It's just asking you a series of questions. You're hitting yes, no, or client refused. Down to the next question until you get through your entire care plan. That's where we're heading.
I worked for a company that did that, and it's awesome.
It is. Yeah, well, the reason how I figured out it was even possible is when the new caregivers come in, I asked them, how are you guys clocking in and out, how are you handling care plans? And it was Abilene. Was one of the first to tell me, well, Milton, here's how we're doing it. And she was showing me on her phone and really kind of introduced me to the whole concept several months ago. And that's when I realized, hey, I've read about it. And now I know that other agencies are out there actually doing it. And Encore is not going to be an agency left in the dust, that's for sure. So let me move on. That's something you can look forward to as the year goes on, the rest of the year goes on. Jeannie and I will be in touch with you about doing that. Now I want to show you something I'm really proud of, and all of the office staff is really proud of. We started with this thing, our thermometer was about down to here when we created this chart. We are this close to doing 1 million hours of service. Huge! There may not be 2 or 3 other agencies in town that can say this. This is just absolutely awesome that we're heading that way. And again, we're on the last mile on this one too, so soon we're going to do it, and you can bet we're going to have a party when that happens. I want to show you a couple of other things that I'm really kind of proud of. Hey, how many of you have been getting those phone calls and they're asking you questions, quality questions about what it's like to work for Encore? A lot of you been getting those calls?
Yeah. I got one. I got one. I said, who is this again now? I thought it was a competitor shopping me or something.
Well, we've hired a company outside to do it. We have nothing to do with it other than hiring this company. They're the ones who are coming up with the questions. They're asking you. They tabulate all of this information, and they give us a score. Every month they give us a score for us to look at. A certain percentage of our caregivers and a certain percentage of our clients are being interviewed and surveyed every single month to tell us exactly how we're doing, and more importantly, where we need to improve as a company. Started this in late 2015, and by February of 2016, we had won an award already. Thank you very much for that. As a trusted provider, our scores were such that we crossed that first threshold and won that award in record time, by the way. That's all thanks to you guys.
Yeah, because I lied on some of
that. Here's the one that I'm most proud of, because this is all about you. Incredibly, by July of this year, we were awarded Employer of Choice for Encore Caregivers. This has everything to do with the responses that you gave and how you feel about working for Encore. 10 is the highest score. We're at about a 9.11. Hugely high, well over 90%. This puts us in the upper echelon of agencies, not just in Houston, but in the United States. That's why I'm so proud of this, and that's why I want to thank you all very, very much for this. But we're not done. There's one more award that we here have got our eye on, and that's an Excellence in Leadership Award. That would put us in the top 5% of all agencies in the United States. And we are that close from getting there. This award comes from what the clients are saying about the interaction with the office staff and the interaction with you guys. We are close. We're about an 8.9 right now. We need to get to about a 9.3. That's how close we are. And Mary Lou's gonna talk about some of the areas that we need to improve on to get there. Thank you all very much.
Okay, here we go. We have a lovely set of recycled glasses. Not looking, not looking, not looking.
Please look so you can do mine.
Okay, it is, what? It is 388-115.
Oh, man.
Who is it? Angela.
Oh, it's me.
I'm scared of that.
I'm scared.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna. Okay, the second thing is, I'm not sure.
Oh, it's
Whitewash picture frame. Here we go. Not looking, not looking. Okay. It is 388-088.
Yeah.
Woo! Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up real quick, guys, because I'm gonna keep you over. Okay, so I heard that. Okay, so what I'd like to do is say that what's neat about Home Care Pulse, this company that calls you guys and calls the customers, is that they report back to us in detail. And so they'll say, talk to the client. Is Encore Caregivers, are they making your life better? And the customer doesn't say yes. Next question. They'll talk. They'll say things. And I get to read those. We have them in the office for everybody to read. And it's kind of neat. I mean, it makes me tear up, you know. She's the best thing that ever happened to me, you know. I'm so proud to, you know, be out with her and having fun. She keeps me laughing, or he, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's just awesome. I love those. I love those. And that's what we're looking for, and that's going to get us over the hump and get us this big award. However, we do get complaints, too, from the clients. Okay? We do get complaints. And let's go ahead and, let me see if I don't want to get out of order. Okay, the late to shift is a big complaint. Okay, it's a big one. Late to shift is a lot. Okay, you take January the 1st of this year till the end of September of this year. We had a bunch of them, a bunch. And if you look at that board, and I know some of the numbers are low, and I'm sorry for that. There's 782, 310, 945, 521, 241, 611, and 493. We're going to guess how many late to shifts we've had since January 1st to September 31st. Okay? So think about it. Is it way high, way low? Okay? And I'm going to ask you, if you think that it's 782, stand up. If you think it's 310, please stand. If you think it's 521, stand. No guesses? 945, late to shift since January, 945. The number, I'm sorry, the number of late to shifts. You think it's 945?
Yeah, I ain't none of those numbers.
Okay, have a seat. You don't think it's any of those numbers?
I say, I'm not in those numbers.
Oh, good for you. She said, you think 945, okay? Does anybody think it's 241? Please stand. Okay, 611?
Stand up.
Stand up, please.
I think 521.
493, anybody 493? Okay, we're gonna go through them one more time, guys, and then we're gonna award a prize. Don't change your answer, please. 782, stand up. If you think it's 783.10, stand up. 945, stand up. Okay, thank you. Have a seat. 521, stand up. 241, stand up, please. 611, stand up, please. And 493, stand up, please. Okay. Give him a prize, please. It's 493. 493. But you know what I'm going to say from my heart? That the people who show up at these in-services aren't usually the people who are doing the late to shifts, guys. I mean, y'all are the best of the best, but I'm gonna call on you to gently encourage other people that you change shifts with, gently, and then let us know, okay? The other one that really gets us, okay, is the clock in, clock out, which Milton has been talking about, well, Courtney and everybody, Stephanie. Clock in, clock out, okay? So we're taking $493 off the table because that's the late to shifts. How many clock in, clock out errors do you think we've had from January to September? Okay, I'm only gonna call the numbers one time now. 782, if you think it's 782, stand up. 310. 521. 611. I can't read. 241. 241. Okay? 945.
That's it.
It's 945, guys. 945.
That's a lot.
You can see how that's hard to pay and how Stephanie just has to jump through hoops to get all that done. Because that is hard to pay when we don't have the right clock in, clock out. Yeah. Okay, it's great. Okay, so we get complaints, we do. And so what? You know, everybody's going to complain. Some people are going to complain just because they complain. But what we're going to do here is I'm going to give you a file. I'm going to divide you into teams of about 4 people, I think, each. And I am going to give you big sticky notes. And these big sticky notes are the top 5 complaints that we get. Okay, the top 5. In this file, it says on phone texting, late, work ethic, ouch, unprofessional, yikes, and attitude. Those are the biggest complaints that we get in no particular order, okay? No particular order. But I know what we get the most complaints about, and the second most, and the third, fourth, fifth. So what you're gonna do when you get your team, you're just gonna walk over to a place on the wall, you're gonna open your file, and you're gonna put in order, these are the most complaints we get. This is the second, this is the third, fourth, and fifth most complaints that we get. Anybody have a question about the rules? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Did y'all do that?
5. Mary Lou,
We
do
may
me
have to add
5.
to your team, so hold on before we say go. Okay, no, y'all go ahead and get up, but hold on.
Do them in 5.
We need 5?
Yeah.
Would you, 1, 2, 3, 4. Would you join them, please? Okay, and would you join these ladies right here? Oh, and I don't have my teams in there. Just find a place on the wall. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And that's 6 up there.
I got 2 more. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, guys, can y'all be here? And 1, 2, 3, guys, can you be here to find a place on the wall? Okay? Everybody has a team? We can start.
Here, y'all want to come right here? Y'all want to use this right here? Okay. Sam, that's number 1. I talked to you already. Can I already talk to you? Jennifer knows not to talk. I just need to let Rose know to
That's fixing it on the phone. That's a big working with somebody.
Come on, team. What do y'all think?
I think you're right. Do your own.
The last one is not.
Listen for your clue.
I think on
The last one is not work ethic.
The last one's not worth it.
Okay, so the last one, okay, so the other two. How about that? You said the last one is not? The worst is like, work ethic would be number 2. One's on the phone.
Clean up in the back.
Number 1 is not on the phone texting.
Okay, try yours.
Number Number one is not late.
Oh, okay.
How about on the phone text? I mean, late? No, late. Okay. On the phone texting is 3. And how about,
Angela's like, one more minute, guys.
work ethic and unprofessional?
Dress professionally.
And then home, and then
Excuse me.
One more minute.
Excuse me.
this is
I have a problem with my I can't.
All right, guys, thank you. Have a seat. Have a seat.
All right, have a seat, ladies. Oh, it's all right. Be confident that you got it right.
for real.
Absolutely no one got it right.
When nobody got it right.
Okay, however, this team right here got unprofessional, and that is the number one
Yes,
complaint. So if
When you walk in,
this
it
team right
portrays
here-
you as a caregiver. You dress like a caregiver.
What they are.
used to look good anyway, you know?
Listening, guys.
Well, wait, but somebody, one of these office staff lied to us, 'cause they told us that the number one complaint was being late. We have a big old complaint about us being late. Somebody told us that milk, I think.
That's why we all said late. It was like, we need to make sure we're on time.
But Milton told us that he said, somebody, one of your.
Everybody said late. We like our job.
The moment you walk in, portrays you as a professional. You need to
If I said it, everybody changed late was the number one.
Okay, here we go, guys. Here we go. Okay, we know what work ethic is, okay? You know what that is. You need to make yourself busy and make sure, even if they're not asking you to do something, that you're kind of in their face.
Oh, no,
Busy
I don't
and
agree with that. No, ma'am.
Okay, that's fine. Attitude is the third one, guys. Attitude. And I'm not even gonna explain that. You know what that is. Not being respectful. Not having good manners. Late is number 4, by the way.
Oh, wow.
And then on phone texting is number 5. However, let me read you. I think you'll be amazed at this. Here are some of the exact unprofessional complaints we got. My caregiver talked about another client. My caregiver hinted about being released early. Beautiful day. I'd love to take my family on a picnic. I know it's 4 and I'm like, rolling hair.
On the wall.
Rolling hair. Hair in curlers. That's 2 complaints. Tattling, not reporting. Putting on makeup. Rough transfer. We have 6 sleep on the jobs.
Oh my God.
Company talk, like how much money do you make? Let's see what else we've got here. Oh, eating clients' food and calling off shifts. Okay, so guys, the thing of the matter is, with our luck, with anybody's luck, the day that you're late to a shift, the next day, Home Care Pulse is gonna call. And the client's gonna say, well, they're really great, except for, they're late. You know what I mean? It's gonna be on the tip of their tongue and the front of their mind to say. So if y'all help us cut down, and again, y'all are awesome, so gently help the folks who you change shifts with to know that we're trying to get this huge award, and it's not just to smile and say we have an award, but it's to use out there and say, we have this award and it's excellent, and you need to, do business with us as well. That's how we grow, that's how we get more hours, that's how you get the hours and the shifts that you want, and that's what we're trying to do. Okay, so we went over just a little bit, but you still have 10 minutes. However, here's how we're gonna wrap it up. You're gonna sign one of these and turn it in. Stephanie is gonna be standing out there. She's gonna give you $20, and she is going to give you a raffle ticket, okay? We have sandwiches on the back wall. You can either get a ham or a turkey with chips, and there are cookies over there as well. You know where the drinks are in front.
Oh, is that it?
Y'all didn't get your prize? Oh, Courtney, could we have candy bars right here for the team that we're making our minutes?
Candy kid, are you recording my big candy?
Okay, can you put the stickies back in your file and give me the file? We're ready to head on out. Thank y'all so much.
Great job, guys.
Not